Ladies and gentlemen, in Tennessee, lawmakers want to pass a bill making some acts of protest felonies. I would like to thank Doug Williams, one of my subscribers, for this story, August 13th, 2020. And this is HuffPost. The Tennessee legislature passed a sweeping proposal on Wednesday that would increase penalties against some protesters who have camped out outside of state houses in Nashville for months demanding racial justice and an end to police brutality. Really, this is what you're upset about? Well, you should do something about those things. And it makes me wonder, Nashville, how many police officers have you prosecuted for killing unarmed black people? I bet you don't even go this hard after them, but you're worried about protesters. Oh boy. State lawmakers in the majority white Tennessee General Assembly passed the measure in a nearly party line vote in both chambers. The bill, which is now headed to the Republican governor, Bill Lee's desk, would punish those who illegally camp on state property, as protesters have outside the state capitol for months, with an E class felony. Okay, I'm sorry, a class E felony rather than a misdemeanor. Okay, when these gun toters came up there with all these rifles a couple of months back, how come you didn't do nothing to them? It's amazing. They are very selective about which protesters to go after. See, those people that showed up with guns, they're not concerned about them. Just the ones that are fighting for racial justice. Yeah, let's go get them. Oh, y'all ain't no damn good. This is why your world is falling apart all around you. Class E felonies are punishable by up to 6 years in prison in Tennessee. And such convictions also result in the loss of a person's voting rights. Oh, well, I don't see what the big deal is. Y'all don't do nothing for us anyway. If you want to overthrow our government through violent revolution, you shouldn't have the right to vote. Oh boy. All right, whatever. John Stevens, Republican, whatever. That's all y'all do. Y'all don't do no real work. How about getting these people their unemployment money? Why don't you sit there and do that? People need their unemployment benefits. Why aren't you working on that? Working on trying to put people in jail. Y'all ain't no damn good. Politicians suck in America. The bill would also impose mandatory minimum sentences for rioting. It would also mandate that those arrested for, out there vandalism of property and other protest related offenses be heard for at least 12 hours without bond. Oh, okay, so they're going to herd people up, throw them in jail. You got to stay there at least 12 hours before you can make any bond. Yeah, Tennessee, you're looking real good. Looking real good, Tennessee. Okay, so they said this new measure will cost state and local governments up to 1.3 million annually. Democrats and some Republicans have voiced concern about the harshness of the penalties amid rounds of debate on the measure, but the GOP led assembly ultimately went forward with the stricter punishments. Let's see who they impose it on in Tennessee. Maybe it depends on the face of the crowd, y'all. Dozens of protesters have been camped outside of the state capitol for nearly 2 months, despite many attempts by local police to arrest demonstrators and get them to move on. But I thought you had the right to do peaceful protest. If they are there and they're not killing people or doing anything illegal, then you need to rewrite your constitution then. You got a problem. Residents have called for lawmakers to address systematic racism in the state, as well as asking officials to remove a bust of the Confederate general and early Ku Klux Klan leader Nathan Bedford Forrest. Really, y'all still got that shit up? Nashville Public Radio said, okay, yeah. So they're not worried about the systematic racism, which we know is rampant in Nashville. They're not worried about that. They are worried about the protesters. Oh, the protesters are getting on their nerve. Well, isn't that what protesters are supposed to do? Otherwise, how do they get attention if they don't get on your nerve? But instead of addressing their concerns, you want to have them arrested. Mm-mm-mm. Well, Nashville sure don't care about your freedom. Democratic leaders in the state called the measure a bridge too far after it was passed. We are using a bazooka to go after a housefly here, the Senate Minority Leader Jeff Yarbrough. Okay, so he said this in a debate on Wednesday. We are really saying that citizens of the state can be punished with a year in prison and have a felony record because they camped out on public property. Yeah, I have to agree with that. State Senator Brenda Gilmore said the legislation, if signed into law, would bring shame on the state, pointing to the recent death of Congressman John Lewis, a hero of the civil rights and voting rights struggles. Yeah, whatever. The bill is one of those things in 55 years we will be ashamed of in how we treated these young protesters and practicing their right to feel, she said Wednesday. Republicans on Wednesday said they were uncomfortable that some protesters had yelled at them and attempted to block their vehicles this week. So, oh my goodness. So, in their political career, that's the worst thing that ever happened to them. Yeah, whatever. Ooh, Tennessee, y'all got some lousy ass um, politicians, but then again, I always think they're all lousy. The Tennessean reported protest leaders had sought a meeting with the governor, but had so far been rebuffed. The thing is, what I wish I could convey to people is that it's really hard to be sympathetic to what someone is saying when they are yelling at you. Okay, so they expect people to assemble and protest in the street and be quiet about it. That's what they want in Tennessee. They want you to protest, but just be quiet, Just be quiet. These people are so, oh man, these people are so fragile. It's not even funny. When they're trying to shame you, when they're calling you names and so forth, said Senator Carrie Roberts. Senator Carrie Roberts sound like a crybaby, said Wednesday, noting he was heckled by protesters as he walked down the sidewalk. Oh my goodness. His little feelings were hurt, y'all, in Tennessee. So he's going to come up with a bill to put you in jail because you hurt his feelings. You yelled and heckled at him. These people are babies for real. Wow. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Man, don't be a politician unless you can develop a tough skin. Don't be a softy like this senator. Peace, family.